back against the wall, I either go all the way filthy or I fall back, and I have this sort of chink in my armor for the rest of time. Purists and people who just love confrontation, they love to say, hey man, there's no rules in this shit, but there are fucking rules in this shit.
Of course.
Yeah, what'd I tell you?
What did you say to him?
You said that I can never let you down.
So, for months, the hip-hop world couldn't stop buzzing about Drake's wild legal war with UMG, the same label that built him up now being accused of tearing him down. At first, I stayed quiet, thinking the drama was played out, but then things took a wild turn. Judge Vargas just dropped a bomb and threw Drake's whole lawsuit straight out the window. Yep, case dismissed. No courtroom win, no heroic comeback, just another headline showing how messy things can get when ego meets empire. Now let's rewind this chaos a bit. Drake wasn't suing some random blog. He went straight after his own record label, claiming they used Kendrick Lamar as a puppet to wreck his name through that monster hit, Not Like Us.
No, like after Kendrick's thing, you wouldn't. I noticed you didn't really get into that too much. So
I just I don't know. It just wasn't real to me. It's like, was that real or was that just like for the people? You know what I mean?
I think it's a sparring kind of sport.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, you know, then let it be real. Then
But you seem just now a little irritated by it. No?
Really? Like, I don't know if it was worth it, you know, because there's a lot of people that were mentioned that I feel like can't really go back and fuck with that guy after that. You know what I'm saying?
He swore UMG had a whole plan to ruin his image, using bots, payola, and promo tricks to make Kendrick's track climb the charts faster than his own ego. The irony is crazy because Drake himself built his career off subliminal shots, lyrical smoke, and hip-hop beefs. For years, he and Kendrick traded bars like boxers throwing jabs in a ring, and fans like me loved every second of it. But once the crowd switched sides and started dancing to Not Like Us, the energy shifted. Suddenly, the so-called Sixth God looked like he couldn't handle his own game. To make it even more awkward, Drake once tried to make peace. Remember that planned collab with J. Cole and Kendrick, the "we're all brothers now" type of track? Yeah, that fell apart quick. Kendrick shut that down and came back swinging, telling the world, "We are not friends, we got unfinished business." J. Cole stepped back like, "I'm out of here," and Drake jumped right back into the fire.
I met Drake in an Australian hotel. I was touring, and he was touring too, and honestly, his managers just came up to my dad and said, "Drake loves the show, come to his show tonight." And I was like, "Are you joking me? Drake? He wants to see me?" And I was like, "Okay, we're going." So I got my outfit prepared, I went there, and he was such a fanboy, and I was such a fangirl. And honestly, we text all the time now. He helps me with everything, like just life lessons. And we went to dinner afterwards, and we had dinner the next day, and then we met in Sydney. So we just texted each other the other day, and he was like, "I miss you so much." I was like, "I miss you more."
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys, he helps me.
What?
Yeah, he's great. He's wonderful, I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
You know, that stays in the text messages.
What followed became one of the most brutal rap showdowns in history. Careers tested, reputations shredded, and fans split right down the middle. Drake caught heat everywhere, from award shows to memes that wouldn't die. People were literally dancing to Not Like Us, calling him a PDF, mocking him in ways he never imagined. His reputation, the thing he treasures most, took a massive hit. That's when Drake did the unthinkable. He filed a lawsuit, the ultimate Karen move in rap history. Instead of clapping back with bars, he ran to the courtroom claiming UMG and Kendrick defamed him and even put his safety at risk.
Drake filed a lawsuit for defamation against Universal Music Group.
He said they shouldn't have released the song in the first place. This from the same man who's been dissing rappers, models, and rivals for over a decade and cashing millions from it. The man who fought for lyrics not to be used in court was now using lyrics as evidence. It's wild, right? Here's where it gets even deeper. If Drake had actually won, it could have flipped the whole creative world upside down. Imagine artists getting sued for what they say in their music. No more diss tracks, no raw expression, no competition. It would have killed hip-hop's spirit completely. But the judge wasn't having it. She pointed out that defamation against a public figure is insanely hard to prove. And Drake, of all people, should know that. The same dude who accused Kendrick of abusing his wife and claimed Kendrick's wife was cheating with his best friend had the nerve to cry foul when he got hit back.
You can't even walk outside because anytime we're at a party, someone's gonna play a song that's about you being a pedophile and we're gonna sing along to it.
The judge basically said, nah, this is rap. It's meant to be heated, exaggerated, and full of wild talk. And she's right. Nobody out here really believed Drake was doing creepy stuff. People understood it was part of the lyrical smoke. But the judge couldn't ignore how weird it was, seeing Drake's own questionable behavior brought up in official court documents, including his strange past friendships with young girls like Millie Bobby Brown. The paperwork didn't lie, and it made him look even worse. It was like the whole case was dragging out the very skeletons he wanted to hide.
You put your hands on your girl. She's been engaged for years. You're not married yet. You living in New York. She's not.
Judge Vargas also made a key point. Opinions aren't defamation, meaning people can talk, rap, joke, or podcast all day long, but that doesn't make it fact. The public is supposed to know the difference between real journalism and entertainment. Still, in this social media era, people treat podcasts like gospel truth, and Drake's feelings got cooked in that confusion. Then came his most desperate move, demanding to see Kendrick's UMG contract and personal family info. Like, bro, what does that have to do with your case? It felt like he was just digging for dirt, hoping to find something to twist into ammo later.
Because he said you have an illegitimate daughter, you groom women, and then Drake's comeback was, I don't have an 11-year-old daughter, and Brian said, hey bro, address the other shit.
The courtroom vibe turned from legal drama to pure gossip fest. From there, it was obvious this wasn't about justice, it was about pride. Drake's image had been shredded, and this lawsuit was his way of saying, I'm still in control. But instead of reclaiming power, he just made his loss even uglier. His fans hyped him up like he was about to drop a bombshell, but all he dropped was embarrassment. Even during his latest live streams promoting his Iceman project, he couldn't stop throwing subliminals, calling Kendrick Pinocchio and accusing UMG of pulling strings. He acted like he had some mysterious red button that would destroy everyone, but that red button turned out to be nothing more than an empty threat. His most loyal fans were convinced he was about to win big, saying he'd own UMG or cash out in billions. But come on, the man...
This is legitimately a RICO money laundering situation between the three major labels and the biggest radio conglomerate in the world.
Mm-hmm. Do you understand the red button a little more now?
Oh, Drake's lawsuit certainly added to this.
Was quoting DJ Academic's clips as courtroom evidence. The judge literally laughed at how unserious it was. Even his own lyrics were used against him because he had predicted all of this in his own diss tracks. The irony was brutal. Drake basically sued for the very same behavior he'd made a career off and lost hard. Now his case is gone, his pride bruised, and the internet's having a field day. The biggest artist in the world got humbled, not by bars, but by his own reflection. The way this lawsuit played out shows how badly Drake misread the game. He thought he was about to pull off a master move, flipping the script, exposing UMG, and proving Kendrick's success was some industry setup, but all he did was expose himself. His case was built on fan tweets, DJ Academics clips, and half-baked evidence that couldn't even hold up in a podcast debate, let alone federal court. The judge saw right through it. She basically said, this whole thing feels like a rap beef turned therapy session. And she was...
I think Drake is going to ask for something that no artist has ever asked for or received. And it's going to be very interesting to see if he receives that.
As far as money?
As far as compensation for damages.
Mm-hmm. On the lawsuit side.
Absolutely. We talking upwards of $2 billion.
$2 billion?
Absolutely.
Wasn't wrong. The more Drake talked, the worse it got. At one point, he was asking for crazy stuff, like Kendrick's personal documents, family info, and UMG contracts. That's not a legal strategy, that's desperation. You could tell Drake was spiraling, reaching for anything to keep this battle alive. To the outside world, it looked like he was searching for hidden weapons, but inside it was clear. This was all about saving face. He couldn't stand being the guy who lost to Kendrick Lamar, especially after a decade of talking like the sixth god could never be touched. That loss cut deep, and instead of sitting down, healing, and dropping something fresh, he tried to use the law to rewrite history. And that's when fans started realizing this wasn't the confident, untouchable Drake we grew up on. This was a man obsessed with winning an argument that was
very angry.
Biggest waste of my fucking time of all time. The biggest waste of my god! I can't fake it. I can't fake it. That was ass.
Is that actually it?
That can't be it. Please don't tell me that was it, bro. No button pressed. No button. Nah, that was like very, very disappointing. Like I was actually told that this was gonna be a red button. So either someone's fucking with me, but either way, at the end of the day, I'm never putting anything else out again. That's disappointing, man. All that build up for nothing?
Already over. What's wild is how far this has dragged his public image down. Remember, this is Drake, a dude who used to run the charts effortlessly, but lately it's been one flop after another. Since the Kendrick beef, he's dropped like 30 or 40 songs and only one, Nokia, barely made noise. For a man who once couldn't miss, that's a huge fall off. And while his fans keep defending him, the rest of the industry is watching like, yo, is this the same guy who gave us Started from the Bottom? It's like he forgot what made him great, the hunger, the mystery, the swagger. Instead, he's out here ranting on live streams, throwing shade at labels and pretending like he's still holding all the cards when clearly he's not. Let's be real. UMG already owns most of Drake's valuable catalog up to 2018. That means all his real classics, the hits that built his empire, are already under their control. The newer stuff, they don't even care enough to fight over it. So when Drake came in demanding hundreds of millions for a new deal, they
I study rap battles for a living.
Probably laughed. He's almost 40, still trying to act like a young mob boss, living like he's at the peak of his prime. The label saw what everyone else sees, an artist past his best years, burning himself out chasing validation online. It's like LeBron asking for a 10-year supermax when everyone knows he's already a legend, but his best athletic years are gone. That's Drake right now, clinging to an old image while the culture moves on without him. What really makes this sad is that Drake could have played it smarter. If he had just stepped back for a while, gone quiet, disappeared off social media and let people miss him, he could have come back huge. Drop one tight album, no drama, no subliminals, just music that hits deep again. People would have loved that. Instead, he kept
What's this, you fucking piece of shit? What's this?
forcing himself into the spotlight, pushing this I'm still the boss narrative that nobody was buying anymore. Every live stream, every rant, every weird flex made him look more insecure. Fans started seeing through the act. This wasn't confidence, it was panic. Even his whole Iceman rollout felt built on empty hype. He kept hinting that this album was going to reveal the truth about UMG and the industry, that he'd finally hit back with something legendary. But with this court loss, all that mystery evaporated. There's no red button left to press, no secret plan to destroy his enemies, just a man with too much pride and too little accountability. Even his own supporters are getting tired of waiting for this mythical comeback. They wanted the old Drake, the artist who could turn pain into platinum, not the one hiding behind.
Wait, what time? Wait, where are you right now?
I'm outside, Daddy.
Wait, what?
Lawsuits and live streams. At this point, Drake's obsession with control has become his biggest weakness. He's so afraid of looking vulnerable that he's forgotten how to be real. This whole legal stunt didn't protect his image. It exposed how fragile it really is. The judge's ruling made it official. This wasn't defamation, it was hip-hop. Raw, competitive, exaggerated art. Kendrick hit him where it hurt, but instead of responding like a rapper, Drake reacted like a CEO trying to sue away embarrassment. It's like he forgot what culture he came from. The same man who built his legacy on emotional honesty couldn't handle a taste of his own medicine. And that's what makes this whole story feel tragic.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy.
And ironic at the same time. The same Drake who inspired an entire generation of rappers with his confidence, his hits, and his vulnerability has now turned into the symbol of pride gone too far. He could have accepted the loss, laughed it off, and come back stronger. But he chose to drag it through court, turning one of hip-hop's best battles into a messy legal drama. Fans didn't sign up for courtroom transcripts. They wanted bars, not briefs. Every time he talks about this case, he reminds the world that he can't let go. Now his career sits in this weird limbo. He's too big to fail, but too stubborn to grow. He keeps trying to act like he's still on top, but the truth is, the culture's already crowned new kings. Kendrick, J. Cole, and even rising stars like Baby Keem are pushing the sound forward, while Drake's stuck trying to win arguments instead of hearts. That's not the move for someone who once called himself unstoppable. He's out here looking like a legend, fighting ghosts and losing. At this point,
You know what they is, man. Fuck all y'all pussies, man. For real, man. I see y'all boys outside when I see y'all, man. For real, man. On some real shit outside, some body shit, man. I'm gonna see y'all boys when I see y'all, man. For real, you know I got hope out here, man. For real.
embarrassing. People aren't even mad. They're disappointed because Drake didn't just lose a court case. He lost touch with what made him untouchable in the first place. When the verdict dropped, it didn't just end a case, it ended an illusion. For years, Drake built this image of being unstoppable, the man with every connection, every hit, every move calculated to perfection. But this lawsuit pulled back the curtain. Fans saw the cracks, the insecurity, the fear, the desperation to keep the Drake brand untarnished. What was supposed to be his victory lap turned into a public meltdown. And the worst part, he did it to himself instead of walking.
If you had a superhero name, what would it be? BBC Girl.
Oh, okay. That's where we're gonna end.
Away with his head high after one of hip-hop's most explosive feuds, he chose to fight a war that made him look weak, bitter, and out of touch. Let's not forget, Drake's whole appeal was that he made success look effortless. He could drop a bar, a hook, or even a random Instagram caption and have the whole internet quoting him. But now, it's like he's fighting to stay relevant in a game he once owned. Filing a lawsuit against your own label over a diss track, that's not power, that's panic. Especially when the judge basically said, you knew what you signed up for. Drake's whole argument collapsed under its own weight. He wanted to prove UMG used Kendrick as a weapon, but all he proved was that his pride couldn't take a hit. The judge even said his claims were too emotional, too personal, and too full of assumptions. She reminded everyone that hip-hop isn't court language, it's culture. It's loud, exaggerated, and full of ego. That's what makes it exciting. Trying to turn a diss into...
Promised payments after, but up front, I was promised $5K.
Okay.
They told me it was for a big artist, promised $5K up front. And then I was also promised after the song performed, I was also going to receive, a little percentage of the song, so points on the song.
Defamation was like trying to trademark beef. It just doesn't work. And it's not like Drake didn't have his own dirt. The court documents even mentioned how he'd accused Kendrick's family of wild things in his own lyrics, stuff that went way past friendly competition. So when the tables turned, he couldn't suddenly play the victim. The whole thing looked like karma in motion. And honestly, that's what hurts the most. Drake used to be the master of flipping pain into art. Every time someone doubted him, he'd turn that energy into another anthem. But somewhere along the line, he forgot that formula. Instead of recording another take care moment, he's been out here chasing attention through streams and lawsuits. That's not artistry, that's chaos. He used to say, they ain't make me what I am, they just found me like this. But this version of Drake, it's like the fame broke something inside him. He doesn't sound like the same guy who once turned heartbreak into history. Now he just sounds defensive. You can see it even in how he moves lately. Every live stream, every subtle jab, every cryptic post feels like he's begging people to remember he's still the man, but it's backfiring badly. Fans who once saw him as the cool, confident hitmaker are now calling him out for being petty. Even the media, who used to worship every word he said, are now treating him like clickbait.
The fact that Drake is biracial. So I'm looking at it from a black and white perspective, okay? His daddy's side engaged in a rap battle. His daddy said, go out there and fight, go out there and fight. And then when Kendrick busted his ass, his mama's side said, oh no, Aubrey, we going to the police. Okay.
When the judge dismissed his case, headlines didn't say Drake fights back. They said Drake loses everything. That's a brutal look for someone who used to dominate the charts. And let's be real, the more he talks about being set up, the less people believe him. This red button storyline he's been teasing for months, it's turned into a meme. Fans waited for him to drop a bomb, and instead they got excuses and silence. The people who used to scream, Drake can't miss, are now whispering, maybe he's finally lost it. That's a tough fall for someone who built an empire on never showing weakness. The legend who made everyone else look small now looks like he's shadowboxing with his own reputation. It's crazy how fast things changed. Just a few years ago, Drake was the face of confidence. Now he's the face of controversy. The man who once bragged about being too blessed to be stressed is now stressing harder than anyone in the industry. And while Kendrick is out there minding his business, performing and living like an artist who said his piece and moved on, Drake is still reliving the same beef like it's therapy. It's almost sad, because if anyone had the power to bounce back, it was him. All he had to do was drop something undeniable, something raw, fresh, and mature. But instead of giving fans art, he gave them courtroom drama.
How crazy is this beef? It never ends.
Well,
this beef is going on forever.
Beef with the wrong.
Yeah, that's the wrong guy.
Drama. Even his loyal fans are starting to turn. They defended him through everything. Ghostwriting rumors, love scandals, beefs, leaks. But this one's different. They're tired of watching him spiral. They wanted the confident Drake who could take a loss and come back stronger, not the one filing paperwork because his feelings got hurt. People love underdogs, but they hate sore losers. And right now, Drake looks like the sorest in the game. He keeps blaming UMG, the media, and industry manipulation. But deep down, this was his own doing. He lit the match and then acted shocked when the fire got out of control. Now, with the Iceman album in limbo, fans are wondering, what's left? Can Drake still bounce back from this? Or has he finally reached the point where the culture moves on without him? Because truthfully, hip-hop's built on hunger, risk, and resilience, not comfort and lawsuits. Kendrick showed that with Not Like Us. He brought raw emotion, pride, and purpose. Drake brought legal documents and live stream rants. It's no contest. He lost the rap war, lost the legal battle, and maybe, just maybe, lost the people who believed he could never fall. And that's the real tragedy. Drake didn't lose because he wasn't talented. He lost because he couldn't let go. His pride turned into paranoia, and his paranoia turned into paperwork. He could have turned all that energy into music that reminded the world why he's one of the greatest to ever do it. But instead, he let his ego drive the car straight into a wall. The man who once told us nothing was the same just proved it. Nothing really is. The world's moved on, and unless he wakes up and finds that old fire again, Drake might be remembered not as the greatest hit maker of his time, but as the first superstar who sued himself into irrelevance.